Hi, my name is Anel. I am a first-gen educator and innovator. Welcome to ELD with Miss Anel. What am I most proud of in ELD? Our classroom practices. These practices are small steps that together form a safety net for my students to reach their goals. Our goals are to develop English language skills, develop technology skills, and develop self-advocacy skills. Today, I will share 7 practices that I'm proud of. First, I am a reflective teacher, and this year I asked myself, how might I be an effective teacher during a pandemic? I've taken a good, long, honest look at myself. In the darkness that we are in right now, with COVID-19, with police brutality and other injustices, am I the light? Am I offering hope to my students? I question myself, who do I want to be for them? How am I designing learning experiences? Is the actual process of them finding their work, their assignments, is it easy to use and understand and find? Do I have videos or audios that help them? That is all about the process. So I stop and I reflect and I ask myself, is this the best way to do it? Take a pause, step back. What are my grades telling me? What are the assessments telling me? Because I don't want to be the next thing that brings my student down. I want to uplift them. 2, equity in grading. I made a serious effort to really reflect and think about, am I grading based on privilege or ability? So I started thinking and questioning, what do they have access to? Yes, they do have technology. Yes, they do have Wi-Fi. But do they have parents that can help them somehow? Do they have a place they can call home? Is it safe? Or are they always moving? Do they have the habits for academic success? That means they know how to study by themselves. That means they know how to use technology without any issues. That means they know how to ask for help. So do they know how to do that? And I know a lot of university students who don't know how to do that. So my high school students, can they do it? And I take that into account. As a first-generation college graduate and a Latina, I make an effort to think about my students and make sure that I'm not grading based on privilege, because I know what it's like to not have anyone at home to help you with work. I know what it's like to want to be successful, but you just don't know how. And I won't let others go through that. So when I think of equity and when I'm teaching and grading, am I really providing the supports they need? Because that's equity. 3, consistent check-ins. So we all know that students don't want to be on screen all the time. So I decided to make sure I use polls to check in with them and also use the chat to check in with them. It's helped me to understand if they're engaged or not, and no excuses on my part. There's always a way to communicate. Another form of check-in that I like to do are social emotional learning questions. For example, what are you grateful for? These type of questions are helpful because they help students feel like they belong in my classroom. And research states that if students don't feel like they belong, then they don't make an effort to really do well in classes. And I want my students to know that they belong and that I care and that they're capable. Student-teacher conferences are a tool that I also use because they help my students speak with me one-on-one. I can provide the proper support they need, and it makes them feel like they belong in my classroom. And I also get the opportunity to counsel them and let them know that they are capable of doing many things. 4, using multi-tiered systems of support. So in Tier 1, I have the core classroom instruction. Then I have an assessment that lets me know who understands the content or not. From there, I go into Tier 2, which is a small group instruction. And I have another form of an assessment. It could be a verbal quiz, for example. And then from there, I go into tier 3, which is my more individual support structure to help my students understand. MTSS strategies have helped me understand that my students cannot set sail in this academic environment if they do not know how to live in these choppy waters. I realized that when I had the most D's and F's, it was a sign that I needed to readjust what is truly important. What am I really teaching? What am I really grading? What is my focus, given the reality we're in right now? 5, I also look at assessments. And what do the assessments tell me? And I use a variety of assessments. So I use the ELD assessment that is part of the Springboard English Language Arts curriculum to help me understand where my students are academically. I use the MAP test results to help me understand their reading levels. Can they read instructions independently in English? If they cannot, okay, what do I have to do? And I seek out the help I need to address those issues. I also have my students complete a Brain Pop ELL assessment, which is free, and they take a screenshot of the result and send it to me. So I also use warm-ups as a form of informal assessment. It's an opportunity for me to reteach real quickly a very specific concept. I can also use this as an opportunity to meet with students and discuss or reteach one-on-one when I have student-teacher conferencing. 6, I have learned after 18 years of teaching that if I want to keep helping my students, I need to keep upgrading myself. And learning isn't something you have to do by yourself. Sometimes you have to learn with other people. For example, I asked to do weekly check-ins with Raquel Topete from Teaching and Learning because I wanted to have someone that I could bounce ideas off of. I also signed up for LinkedIn Learning. They have a K-12 education focus as well. And I have my professional profile there. And every time you complete something there, you get a certificate and you can post it on your profile. So I like that. I also attend free virtual conferences when I can. I just make the time because in the long run, it helps me professionally and, of course, my students. I make an effort to read. My goal is to read every day for 30 minutes. I don't always get the chance to do that. But one book I have read is Classroom Instruction That Works with English Language Learners, and I highly recommend it. It's for any subject, and it's a good investment in yourself and in your classroom. Another great book is 50 Strategies for Your Virtual Classroom. This book is maybe 50 or 60 pages long, and it has a lot of tips for different age groups, including high school. And I like to thank Ms. Gonzalez at LVLA. She used some of these strategies in a meeting, and I just love them. So thank you for that, and I highly recommend you check this out. I am also part of a professional education group. This group is called ITSE. It is a paid membership. I do this because I like meeting people from other schools and I want to know what they're doing. So it's also a great way to network, and you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from. 7, I also implemented project-based learning whenever possible. And as they were normally culminating projects, and one of our last projects is an ELD portfolio. The ELD portfolios are Google Sites, so they're basically learning how to create websites. But what they're putting in their websites are things they've done throughout the school year in our class, and they're also demonstrating their English skills because they're recording themselves, And they're also showing you their writing skill level because they're writing. You can see an example coming up.
Hello, my name is Angelica Rodriguez, and this is my ELD portfolio. And this is the picture of me since when I was 15. And this is my audio talking about myself. If you want to get to know me, you should listen. And this is my email address if you want to contact me. Okay, let's go to the next page about me. Who am I? I'm proud Latina teenage who loves to know new cultures and more than you can dream. And there is a star. I think it's like a human because there's the head, 2 arms, and the legs. And there are some words like Bogota, which is the city that I grew up, and Colombia, the country where I'm from.
Thanks for watching ELD with Miss Anel.